Good morning. Today we will start chapter 1 of science, that is nutrition in plants. Now you know that all the living organisms, they need food or they perform some basic functions to keep themselves as alive. Now these basic functions which allow the living organisms to live on earth are known as life processes. So what are life processes? Life processes are the basic functions which the living organisms perform so that they can live on earth. Now what are the basic life processes? We told basic functions. What are those? Those are nutrition, respiration, excretion, growth, reproduction, movement and response to stimuli. You have learned about nutrition. Means what is nutrition? They are the chemical substances that are found in our food which we take, and that gives us energy and different things so that we can grow well, or which our body needs. So respiration, the way you take that is the breathing in and breathing out process. Excretion means secreting giving out of the waste material from the body, be it in solid or liquid form. Growth means your growth. Reproduction means a living thing reproduces its same thing. A plant gives birth to means it gives off seed, and from there again we get the same kind of plant. Similarly is for animal and similarly is for human being. Movement means from one place to another. You have to move, you can't stay at one place. Although the plants stay in one place, other than plant, all the living organisms move. And then response to stimuli. Now stimuli means when we do some activity due to some means we due to some development of, means when we have hit, suppose if, let me explain you with an example. If something suppose is very hot, and when you touch it, what do? You remove your hand back. So that is what you are responding, how you are responding to, how your sense organ is responding to that particular activity. So that is response to stimuli. I'll be sending a video on response to stimuli with many examples, so it will be clear to you what it is the meaning of the response to stimuli. Now all living organisms, as I said, they require food that provide energy to their perform so that they can perform the different life processes. Now, who can prepare food? We can't prepare food. Only the plants, they can prepare food. And the plants, they prepare food for themselves, and the extra food which is prepared by them, it is consumed by either human or by the animal. And we human beings or the animals, we are directly or indirectly dependent on plant. Now why we are saying indirectly dependent on plant? Because when we are suppose eating non-vegetarian food, that is flesh of some animal, and that animal whom the human is consuming depends on, means is a herbivorous animal, means that eats plants. So in that way we can say we are indirectly means plant is indirectly, we are dependent on the plants indirectly. Means directly also the plants, human or the animals, they eat many plants or the leaves of the plant or some other parts of the plant. Indirectly also, in the way I explained you, the humans, they are eating some flesh, and that particular animal is eating plants. So indirectly also human is dependent on plant. So now let's come to nutrition. What is the nutrition? Why what is the use and everything? So the process of taking in food and its utilization of body is called nutrition. So when you say the word nutrition, means what does it mean? It means it is the process in which we take in food and how that food is utilized by our body. Okay. So you have learned the names of number of nutrients in your last class, that is carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, all these you have learned. So now do you remember what was the work or what was the role of each, or what they give to our body? Why was this carbohydrate important for our body, or why is protein important for our body? If you remember, it's good. If not, just check back, means from your last class books you read once why they are important. Okay. And here you have to learn the definition of nutrition, then the basic this life processes. These all you have to learn them. Now, modes of nutrition. Modes means the ways of nutrition. What are the different ways? Living organisms show two modes of nutrition. One is either they prepare their own food, as in plants, or they take in ready-made food, either from plants, that is fruit and vegetable, or from animal, as such milk, meat and eggs. So the ones who prepare their own food, they are known as autotrophic or autotrophs. Auto means what? It's self, and trop means nourishment. So the plants are making their own food, so they are known as autotrophic. Whereas animals and humans, they don't make their own food, so, or some of the plants also, then they are known as heterotrophic. Hetero again means other, and trophic means nutrition, means one who is depending for its nutrition on some other plant or some other thing. It cannot manufacture its own. Now, autotrophic nutrition is found in green plants. As I told you, they are the only ones who can manufacture food. Now, how do this green plant manufacture food? You know, it is by the process of photosynthesis. The green plant prepare their own food by the process called photosynthesis. Now, this photosynthesis is carried on in presence of a green pigment, and that is known as chlorophyll. If this chlorophyll was not present in green plant, then the plants could not have manufactured this. So, chlorophyll is very important for plants, and without it, the plants cannot manufacture their own food. So we can now we can say that we have understood that green plants are known as autotrophic organisms, or they are known as autotrophs. Now let's come to heterotrophic nutrition. What do you mean by heterotrophic nutrition? All the animals, they show a heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and hence they are known as heterotrophs. Why heterotrophic? Because I told you before, hetero means other. They depend upon for their nutrition on other, that is the plants or some of the animals. Now, heterotrophs are organisms that cannot manufacture their own food and derive food from plants or animals or both. Clear? Now, if you list all the food items that you take in one day, you will see how much we are dependent on plant and animals. Start from the morning. You do one thing. You make a chart. Write what you had in your morning breakfast, then in lunch, and then in dinner. And then see whatever you had. Suppose if you had bread sandwich and milk. So bread sandwich bread is made up of flour that comes from wheat, that is a plant product. Again, inside the sandwich you have put, suppose, cucumber, tomatoes, or so these also comes from the plant. These are all plant product. Then milk is an animal product. So similarly, if you make the thing whole list for a day, you will see we are all dependent on these plants and animals for our food. Wheat, rice, pulses, vegetable, fruits are obtained from plant, whereas milk, curd, cheese, eggs, meat are dependent on animal. Now, some of the plants also, I told that some plants they cannot manufacture their food. So some plants are also heterotroph, as they can eat insects. Pitcher plant and Venus flytrap are plants that eat insects, and such plants are known as insectivorous. Why insectivorous? Because they eat insects. Now I'll show you this one. So this is a pitcher plant, and if you can see, I'll send you another picture of a pitcher plant. It's a lid like thing. The insects come and sit here. When they come, they have senses here. It closes the lid, so and it digests the insect. This Venus flytrap, it's more interesting. It's the insects that come and sit here, and when something sits here, even if you put your finger, what will do? These two will come and join like this. It will become like this. Okay, and the insect inside dies off, and they consume this. So this is the Venus flytrap, and that one is pitcher plant. So these two are insect eating plant. So this they are known as insectivorous plant. Now, based on the eating habits, means what the animals eat, they are again divided into three categories, which you have learned before also: herbivorous, carnivorous, and omnivorous. So herbivorous that eat plants, carnivorous that eat meat, and omnivorous that eat both plant and animals. Who are the examples? Human beings, crow, cockroaches. These all are omnivores. Okay. Now, so you can see this chart. If you learn this chart nicely, then you won't have to learn other things. Means you'll remember everything very clearly. Based on nutrition, we have autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic are those who can manufacture their own food, that is the plant. Heterotrophic are those who cannot manufacture their own food, and they obtain from plant and animal. Then again, these heterotrophic organisms, based on what they consume, means whether it is only plants or only animals or both, they are divided into herbivorous, carnivorous, and omnivorous. Clear? So learn this chart nicely. Everything will be clear in your mind. Now, the nutrition in plants, that is photosynthesis. Plants, we know they are autotrophs. They prepare their own food. Now, where is the food prepared in plant? I think you know it's in the leaf. Where is the food prepared in plants? It is in the leaves of the plant that the food is prepared. It is not in the stem, not in the branches, only in the leaf. And what are the raw materials which the plant used to prepare the food? There are some raw materials which the plant prepare to food. And what is the chemical nature of the food that is produced? Means the food that is produced by the plant, what is the chemical nature of it? Now, food is prepared or synthesized only by those plants which are green in color. We know this, that only green plants can manufacture their own food. And you must have seen that majority of the plants which you see around you they are green in color. And why they are green in color? They are green in color due to the presence of the green pigment called chlorophyll. Now, chlorophyll is present in leaves and also in young green stems. The process by which the green plants prepare their food is known as photosynthesis. This you know before also. Now, during this process, the plant absorbs sun's energy through their leaves and convert into their food energy using raw materials from the atmosphere and soil. So, what is the process of photosynthesis, or how the process? What do the plant do during photosynthesis? The plant absorbs the sun's energy, that is the solar energy, through their leaves, and then they convert the food into the food energy using the chlorophyll and the water and different minerals from the soil. So, thus for photosynthesis, what four things are required? First one is chlorophyll. It is the green pigment present in leaves. Second is sunlight. It is absorbed by chlorophyll and is present in leaves. Carbon dioxide. It is absorbed from atmosphere by the leaves through small pores present in the lower surface of the leaves, and these pores are known as stomata. We'll come to that. What are stomata and what are their uses? Fourth is water. It is taken up from the soil by roots and transported to leaves through pipe-like structures called vessels. They are present throughout the plant body. So you see, these are the 4 things that are required for photosynthesis. Without this, photosynthesis can't take place. So these 4 things you have to remember, that only if any one of them is missing, the photosynthesis can't take place. Okay. Now the chlorophyll containing cells of leaves in the presence of sunlight use carbon dioxide and water to prepare food. The food prepared, that I told you what is the chemical nature. The food that is prepared is in form of carbohydrate, that is in form of sugar, you can say, or carbohydrate a part sugar. It's in form of carbohydrate, but it's in a form of sugar, not the sugar which we consume. This sugar ultimately gets converted into starch. That is also another form of carbohydrate. So from one form, you can see sugars are simple carbohydrate and starch are complex carbohydrate. So from simple they get converted into complex. So while in photosynthesis, now you have come to an equation. This is the equation which you have to write whenever you are explaining what is photosynthesis, or what is photosynthesis, or how the photosynthesis takes place. You have to always write this equation. So it is 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, CO2, 6 molecules of water, H2O, and 1 molecule of carbohydrate, that is C6H12O6, and 6 molecules of oxygen. Now here you have never read how to write in symbol form carbon dioxide. So you know the term carbon dioxide, you know the name carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide can be written as CO2. Water, which you know, is written as H2O. Now we cannot write this as H2O. Okay, we have to write, this is a way of writing H2O. When you read in chemistry, you will know why we are writing that way. Then this is carbohydrate, C6H12O6, and oxygen, O2 is oxygen, not 6O2 is O2. Okay. So let's stop here for today. We'll be continuing in the next class and go through whatever has been explained.